We are live with Spry. I think this is 119, number 119, with the Live with Spry, and it's a monumental one. First one in our workshop, and I'm waiting to see if someone comes on. Because if someone comes on, I am late, and I apologize that. Jeff Bragg is in. A couple other people joining in. Barry Tull, welcome. Marty Cafe, welcome. Willie is in. Chelsea's in. So, I can't believe it. We're actually live, and it's not breaking up right now, so I'm starting out a lot better than I was. I'm 20 minutes late. Wanted to go on at 8:30. Got Tito back here. Got Spry here. Super echoey in here. The new warehouse. We haven't moved in yet, but it's coming, guys. So you're getting the first look at it. So, I'm going to be moving in here in the next couple weeks. Our whole operations is going to move in here. So, it's cold. Missy's in. Kim is in. Kim and Terry. Chase, Scott, Shaldeg's in. Kelvin, Chris Borgman, Jeff Forsberg. Jeff Forsberg, there's your dog behind me here. Schulte's in. So, nice group. Welcome, everybody. Wes Hansen joined in from the Release podcast. So, here's what I'm going to ask again. First off, I'm going to start out with, I suppose, a couple questions. There were 16 people that shared last night's Live with Spry. I couldn't figure out how to find out who did, so I'm trying to find that out. So I don't know. So I'm going to do an honesty policy thing, and I'm hoping that those same people are in. If you shared Live with Spry, make a comment that you just say, I shared it or something. There should be 16 people that did it. Maybe they're not all in right now, but Mike Bartold is in. Chelsea, you're in. Gene, not sure. Not sure what that means. Let's see. Krzanek is in. Matt Loxley. So, do me the favor. If you shared it, tell me you shared it. Someone just said they shared it already. Chelsea shared it. So, the reason I'm doing that is I asked you guys if you would help me grow this, and that's the best way that I found to do it. So whether you share it now while it's live, which is kind of nice because then people can get in and see the stuff, or you share it after, that's fine too. I'm going to take my bag off. I actually have a training bag tonight. I actually look like I'm going to be doing some training. I've got a tripod tonight. So I'm really getting into this right now. So I'm going to set this up. We got some new people coming in. I can see that. Betsy's in. James Lewis is not new, but he is in. Dan is in. And he always shares, as he says. Trace Taylor's in. Jason Erickson, good evening to you. Drusilla is in. Wes shared for sure. Charlie is in. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Keep letting me know if you shared it last night. So I'm going to scroll through at the end here, and I've got something for the idea of that. So, first off, I'm going to do this. Spin this around. It's way more exciting when we watch dogs. So, if you can see here, Tito, I'm kind of using tonight as an introduction to Tito. Tito is a brother to the little dog we had in here last night, Cody. We had Cody with us. I thought she did a really nice job. So I'm sitting over here one-handing it, trying to get this camera going. I don't know why I don't take advantage of the old tripod. Hold on. Not used to the tripod. If you follow our old Live with Sprys, you'll know I went to the tripod because it's really difficult to do it one-handed. So, how echoey does it sound? I apologize for the audio. Let's see. So what I don't like to do is reward. Now I got to figure this out again. I just turned off all the comments. Someone remind me of how I do that. So, I don't reward, and this is going to be a real challenge for me. So, one thing I realized today, and I kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday too. I talked about it with someone today. Was when I do these Live with Sprys, my emotions go up and down. Last night I got upset a couple times because my tape wasn't sticking, which was my tripod. I'm gonna move over so that you can see Antsy Pants back here. So when I start getting energized up like this and start talking like this dog I was in here for about 5 minutes before we started. He never made a peep. But I start making noise and I start getting going, and I'm actually doing it on purpose right now to really get going, and I'm fast and I'm talking and it's noisy and it's echoey and it's wow, 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 a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden he gets up and he starts getting antsy and he starts whining, and so what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let him get off. Not when he's like that. I don't really want to move him right now. I'd like to move him because I'm going to move him. There's a nice little change. And watch what will happen when I slow down. There's a pretty nice little change. It's a real nice change. It's likely he'll get frustrated here pretty quick if nothing happens. So I'm going to wait. And one of the things I talked about, as soon as I start talking, watch him ramp back up. One of the things I talked about today with one of our clients actually that has a dog that we're training, you can just hear it. It ramps up as soon as I get going, the dog starts getting going. So we really set the tempo with everything we do, whether it be fast or slow. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Now I'm going to shut up and let's see what happens. It's interesting, isn't it? Isn't that funny how when I start ramping up and talking, we get him a little antsy. When we slow down and settle in, they have a little bit of a tendency to mirror that, right? So I'll start talking again because it's really a boring live with Spry if all I do is stand here. Now, Spry doesn't get affected nearly as much as Tito does. Tito is a lot younger. Tito is not used to the culture. Tito's getting used to the culture. So when I'm going to move him here eventually, he's got to earn this a little bit. So the thing that I talked about with Moja, you guys have seen Moja. Moja's owners, friends of ours, Greg and Tammy, and I talked with Tammy about it today. She said, she took her home. So she said, what are we working on? Nothing different. Same thing. Like, she's a puppy. So we're working on getting them used to this culture of slowing down. She really moves fast. It's the fastest moving dog we have in the group right now. She gets to be borderline out of control at times. Can't have that. So Tito's not quite at that level. Tito's probably got a little more juice than his sister Cody does. This I like. So let me go get him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to move him because I'm going to turn this because we're going to actually work down on the other end. So I'm going to go get him. I'm going to go get him under control. Get him. I didn't ask him to get off there. So I'm going to get this adjusted a little bit better. Get up. So I put a lead on him. That doesn't mean he can jump off whenever he wants. No. Sure wants to make me happy. I like that. So I'm going to move him. Then we're going to learn from what we did last night. Really nice numbers, guys. I think if you shared it, that's why. I appreciate it. I beg of you to continue to do that. It's the best way for us to grow this. If you've got questions, because there's 60, there were 70 at one point that were on. I know there's probably new people. So this is, during this time, is really good. Once I get into some of the training stuff that we're going to do, I don't always have a chance to read these questions that come up. I don't get to see who's coming in. And so if you got questions, now is a really good time to ask those. Tito, heel. So I'm going to move him down here. I'm going to move the bed down here, please. Tito's feet aren't that bad. Now I'm going to learn from what happened last night. Last night, I tried to work Spry first. Heel. I tried to work Spry first, and we ran into a problem where Cody kept jumping off the bed, and Cody just wasn't steady enough on it to kind of resist the temptation and the excitement and the distraction that was going on with me with her. So last night I put on there that I wanted to do some heel work. We were going to talk about reverse heel for a recall, because we have a lot of people. First off, I should apologize too. I've got like 14 messages on Facebook to respond to yet that were in the last day or today or yesterday. So I think it was up to 14 or 15 tonight. So I'm going to spend some time tonight getting back to those. So I appreciate your patience, first off. And email-wise, if you've got emails out to me, I probably got that many emails to get back to over the last couple of days too. So tonight I'm going to make sure I have some time to put towards it. So be patient, and I appreciate your patience. If you've asked questions, it's not that they didn't go unheard, it's just I haven't quite had time to get back to them yet. But, so, a couple of the questions were recall related. So that's why, if it looks like it's cold in here, it really is. The snow is not melted off the tires on that four-wheeler, so it's below freezing apparently. Heat's going in here this week. So I'm not going to be out here too long, because it's way better than outside, but it is still pretty cold. So the recall came in from people that were letting their dogs out. Now look how nice he's settled in now. Like, this is real nice. I like this. So recall, when you let your dog out, go to the bathroom, or it's just out in the yard running around, and the dog just won't get back to us. So I wanted to talk about reverse heel, because reverse heel is a fix to that. And what I don't like, and I don't want, and I want to be careful of is, I've got these questions. I've heard a lot of the terminology of I call them to me off sit, or I'm calling them to, I'm practicing by recalling them off of the sit or off of place. And last night I think I started it on this, but I went on a tangent. But I don't ever call dogs off of place, especially can you imagine if I had called him off of that place? He'd have been here like right now. Like 100 miles an hour, they just tear off of there. So Moja does that. He will do that. All of my dogs will do it to some degree, but the older ones don't do it, at least until I call them. Where these young ones if we start calling them off a place, they anticipate it, and it has a tendency to really slip down to him. So all of a sudden we got dogs that are creeping off or breaking off, and then I got to correct them and put them back. Even Elsa, that little fox red dog that we have, she does it. She does it pretty bad too. So I don't want to call them off a place. It's going to create more problems. I don't want to call them off sit. I worked really hard to get dogs to be able to sit. And with him, I'm going to leave him. I've got the adjustable leader. Now this is the big adjustable leader. This is the longer collar. I'm going to put him on sit, and it's going to be a remote sit. This is just a little remote sit exercise. I do not want to call him off of that. Trust me, he will want to. But then what's going to happen is it's going to make it a lot harder for me to put him on sit and have him stay on sit. Because he's going to have this tendency to be able to be, it's okay, I can get up sometimes. Right there. Sit. So clearly, something that we don't have done yet. We need to work on it. Why would you eat gravel? Why would you? plan on working on it, but we'll see how he does with it. So, now, so right now, now we're going to do this. Come here. Come here. Sit. He's embarrassed, and rightfully so. So, here's a little thing to add to my list with him. A little bit more remote sit work. He is so wound tight right now. He's ready to explode. Does anybody have a dog at home that they get so jacked up, they get so excited that they look like they're going to blow, like, that's where he is right now. So instead of, I might work in a little bit of remote sit with him, but I'm going to start out with this heel work, because first off, I want to get a connection to him. Watched last night when we did it with Cody. Made a big difference. Made a real big difference. I like tonight because I got a little bit more room. But, so I'm going to work with him, I'm going to tie in with him. I stop talking to the camera so much when I do this because part of the problem I have with him on remote sit, I really believe this, is that I'm busy talking to you guys and not really paying 100% attention to him. And the chances are that he's going, screw you. You give me 50%, I'll give you 50%. I can't have 50%. So I really got to tie in and focus with him if I expect him to focus with me. So my quick long-term goal or short-term goal is going to be, I'm going to get a little bit of good heel work with him, just sink in, make some easy turns. I'll probably turn to the right. He heels on my left. It's reversed. The camera's reversed. So he's going to heel on my left-hand side. I'm going to turn to the right, which is easier for him to always be following. We'll test his feet later. I think Jeff has a pretty solid setup right now, foundation-wise, with his heel work. We'll find out. If he doesn't, it'll be exposed pretty quickly. So I'm going to heel him, hook into him a little bit, and then I'm going to redo this remote sit and see if it changes. See if it makes any difference compared to what we just had. Because what you just had wasn't very good. You know, it was pretty short amount of focus. So if you have questions, I'm scrolling through here in my... a lot of comments. I don't know if there's questions. There's plenty of comments. So this is the time to ask some questions. If you're joining in before I was paying attention to that thing, thank you. Welcome. Please do me the favor of sharing. And if you did share it last night, make sure you said you shared it. So let me start. And the one thing you'll notice too is, just like when we started out here, when I start and get going, my pace is likely to really slow down. Like everything I do will slow down. I'll get a lot quieter. It's loud in here right now. So it's hard for him if I'm going to be that way. But I want to be real quiet, because when I really need to get his attention, that wasn't that loud. I can get a lot louder than that. So if it's not that loud and it gets their attention right now, you got a lot left in the tank if you need to up it. If you're bellowing and hollering and really loud all the time, and then you need to get their attention, you can only get so loud. So I quiet way down to the point that I almost don't want to be verbal at all. And most of the time when we're not on camera here, we're not verbal. So I'm going to start in with it. I'm just going to get a little heel work it into probably a remote sit. Tito heel. Confused. Pay attention to the lead. I always talk about a loose lead. No steering. This is a really comfortable pace for him. He's much better at fast pace. He's almost perfect at fast pace. He's way better at fast pace. The biggest problem I'm finding right now is when I slow down, he's confused, thinks he should sit. He's really good at this pace. So, the biggest problem that comes up, I mean, that's pretty good. It's real good. Most people will go, that's perfect. No, it's not perfect. Plenty of things to work on. The thing about him is when I start to slow down, he's confused. I can tell immediately. He wants to sit down because I think he's used to coming to a stop and sitting. I think Jeff's got that wired into him pretty strong. Come to a stop, sit. And I'm good with that. I like that. Good habit. Come to a stop, sit. Come to a stop, sit. Come to a stop. So when I get to a point where I go at, watch when I walk at a normal pace, he's right there. He's really nice. When I stop, he sits. When I get walking again, he's really good. The loose lead is beautiful. I barely had to correct. I had to correct once. I don't know why he wanted to go behind me a couple times. But the one issue that I have is, as soon as I slow down at the pace I want to go, which is slower than what he wants to go, he's not sure what to do. And he's trying to sit down. He's trying to sit down. When he sits down, he actually sits and I keep going. He's just guessing right now. He's guessing at the idea of, he's slowed down enough, I might as well sit. And then I actually have to give him a little bump to get his feet moving again. So here's what in that 3 minutes just now, my assessment is I want to work towards slowing down with him and not having him sit. Sounds really opposite of what most people would say. I love that idea that he sits. I do too, but he's got it. Now I don't want him to, and he wants to. So we're going to find balance in that. So we're going to slow down, and instead of him just sitting, I want him to just slow down. Keep moving, but slow down. Come to my pace. So I really want this idea of me setting the pace, me setting this tempo. So I'm going to see if I can't get him to slow a bit without sitting down. Tito, here. This is what I would call real medium pace. As soon as I slow, there's where he wants to sit. No. See how I wanted to sit? I slowed enough that he wanted to sit. No, come on. There's the sticking point. So watch what I'm going to do with this. It's all about reading him and having good timing with him. Because as soon as he wants to sit, my pace picks up just at that exact second. Dog is really smart. See that? He actually stopped and didn't sit. Because my pace is not, I'm not stopping. I'm just going so slow, he's having to stop a little bit. But he's not going back to that sit. And that, there he did. That's a nice, real quick change out of the dog. See how slow this can be? But look at what a difference my pace made with everything about him. And it's really interesting to see the effects of his focus and concentration. As soon as I start talking to you, where's his head go? He's giving you guys 50%, he'll give me 50%. But already we've probably times 10 almost the amount of focus and time he had on remote sit when we first tried it. I think it's a couple of reasons. I think it's because we've tied in a little bit. We're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, figuring out each other's pace. You got an understanding of what I'm looking for. I made it a little clearer to him what I'm looking for. Now I've really got him. When you can get tied in with a dog, when you can get dogs to believe you, focus with you, trust you, they'll do just about anything you ask them, if they understand what it is you want. That's where the shortfalls come, is they don't understand what we want. No. Now, before it gets too long, that we lose this, and it doesn't go that good, get out of it. So I feel like we just gained something with him. Good. Yeah. Now it restarts. There, did you see that? He wanted to sit real bad. But because my little legs kept moving, he realized and recognized it. He kept moving too. There. No steering. No need to. Now I'm going to add to this. So, tonight with him, right now, Spry still, I'm okay with that. Spry's still in training. Her lesson tonight, live with Spry, Spry's lesson is be patient, and it's not always my turn. Tito didn't like the idea of Spry being over here and me talking to you guys and him being on the bed. He wasn't patient, he wanted it to be his turn. We made him change before it got to be his turn. We needed him, when I say change, I mean he had to settle. He had to do what we wanted him to do. He did. Now we're doing what we want to do with him on our terms. But when we started, I figured out this little quick pace change thing, remote sit thing. Those are like two links. We connected them together. Now his right hand turns are really good. I'm going to see his feet on his left hand turn. I think it's going to be pretty good. I think Jeff had started this. I've seen it already in our heel work that he's got a pretty good left turn. We're just going to see how good. But this is where it gets tough. This is where last night, I don't think Cody, and I got a message from Cody's owner, because she watched the video last night with Cody, and she said, we had not done much on lead. And so when we started turning her to the left, it was really uncomfortable. I don't think she had done it before. Watch it. If you haven't watched it, watch it from last night. It was real interesting, I thought. The one thing I thought was really good was her feet moved backwards real well, and that's hard for dogs to do. It's uncomfortable. It's like me throwing left-handed. It doesn't look very good. So we got to get them to understand how to do it. So we got to help them. So I'm going to take Tito, and now we're going to turn left hand. And what I'm looking for is the bend in the body to come around me, and I'm looking for his hind quarter to lead his front quarter. So he's going to have to back up and lead with his hind quarter and swing around and follow with his head. That's hard. It's a hard move. You guys will see some stuff that we did with Mighty Pet. It was hard for people to do it with people, not even dogs. It was just, we set this drill up where we had two people across from each other, and they were trying to I was trying to get them to do what I wanted the dog to do with them, but no talking or anything. It was just all physical. And it was hard for them to get it figured out. Well, if it's hard for two people to figure it out, that speak the same language and know exactly what we're trying to do, it's way harder for a dog that doesn't speak English and doesn't understand what we're trying to do. So that's how we have to figure out how to communicate it to them. Now, one thing I wanted to mention too was, I'm going to build off of this and have another remote sit. But I made a correction down there, and it was a bad correction. It didn't correct very crisp, and the reason was I had my hand in the exact same position. When I put my hand on those leashes, those are the same leashes that I use every single time. It's the leash that comes with the adjustable leader. I put my hand in the exact same spot, and if you give it to me, I can close my eyes and I can put it exactly in the same spot every single time. The difficulty with that was when I corrected, I didn't get it. I missed it. It was about that much too long. And so this collar that he's got on is a large. He should not be wearing a large. So this is too long. But the other version is 6 inches shorter. So when I put that on, that's the exact amount that I missed it by. So I had to adjust my hand on this leash because of that, because I got a long collar on. So whatever collar you're using at home, like I never touch the hardware. I'm usually right here. I never touch the hardware. I have to touch the hardware tonight because the collar is a little bit long. I just listened to a podcast about fitting shotguns to shooters. And so they talk, and I'm not that picky. I don't have a fitted shotgun. But they were talking about the importance of it and how much of a difference it makes. And I went, I believe it 100 times over, because just a fitted leash, and it doesn't have to be fitted, this is pretty universal, 36 inches long. But where you put your hands on it is how you fit it to you. And it has to be in the same spot every time. This is normally where I would put it. That's way too high to be putting pressure on. It needs to have pressure on about right there, or I'll lose all my momentum by the time I get to the dog. And then it turns a 10 into a 6, which is really flat and naggy and all sorts of issues. So for tonight, I'm going to have to use this as my benchmark. But we've had workshops where people come, we end up taking tape and putting it on their leash. Put your right hand here, put your left hand here. That's mechanical. Do it every single time over and over until it becomes like home roll. I call it home roll, like if you're a typer. your keyboard or whatever. So this has got, you got to find your home row. You got to be there all the time. That's why sometimes we can't take dogs like this. We can't take dogs like this. It's got to be exact in order to get good. So to be good in this drill, I'm going to work on his feet. I'm going to have to be exact, because if I miss it, that's me miscommunicating to him. So let's do some turns into him and see how his feet are. Tito, heel. First I'm going to start away. We know he does this well. Now I bet it's a surprise when I first do it. First I'm going to check his pace. So I give him a little pace check and he seems to be alright, so I speed up and slow down. Missed that one. So I'm going to do that before I have him turn. Because the first time I turn into him, it's really going to surprise me. So I'm trying to help him pay attention to me in my pace. Missed it. See how I missed that? So, and I missed it, so I didn't correct it. If I had my timing ready, I would give you that little tap. So I'm going to go fast, slow. He wasn't bad there. He got out just a fuzz on me, but I want to sharpen that up before I go to a left-hand turn. I'm going to do the left-hand turn because I think this is going to help fix that too. He's got a tendency when I slow down to curl in front of me. He curls in front of me. He curls in front of me. This time, I'm turning into him. Now watch what we do here. I'm going to go away from him this time. I'm going to do it when I come into you guys. I'm going to turn into you. See how he's leading with his front shoulder and going, what are you doing right now? Now he puts his butt down and he pivots. This is what the dogs were doing at Mighty Pet. So what I need to do now is, his front shoulders, his butt was like still, and his front shoulders turned. And he just turned in a circle, like he pivoted around his hindquarters. This is what the dogs were doing at Mighty Pet. This is what Cody did a little bit last night until I started to move her back. So now instead of just making a turn, because he did not respond to it the way I hoped he had, so now what we'll do is I'm going to turn into him and I'm going to start to back him up like a trailer. When you back up a trailer, you go the opposite way to get the trailer to go. So turn your wheels the opposite. I'm going to have to do that with him, and I'm going to use my shoulders, I'm going to use my hips, I'm going to use my whole body, and I'm going to circle. This is why I wanted a person last night to film, because there were a couple times where I did that and I got out of the frame. So you might be able to see it a little bit better from here, but I'm going to get him moving. See how he does not want to move that butt. You know what this is from? This is from his habit of sitting. As soon as he gets uncomfortable, he bails out and sits. So as soon as I change the pace, he bails out and sits. Well, last thing we did, we had to get him to not put his butt down. But I was moving him forward at that point. It's a lot easier to move forward than it is to move backwards. It's a lot easier to do something with your dominant hand than your weak hand. This is like doing something with his weak hand. So I'm going to move out here a little bit to do this. And then we're going to spin him. And I'm going to end up backing him a bit. And I'm going to use the lead to help him. I got to get around him. I got to get around him. There. Someone's going to get dizzy from this. Boy, he is tight. This is a lot like Mighty Pet. If Chelsea is watching, that's what all those dogs did in Mighty Pet. There. Look at him just give up. His body language to me right now looks like a coyote in a trap. His ears are laid back, and he just, I don't want to do it, Dad. I don't want to do it. And he quit. So, now, I've got a little challenge on my hands. Here's the thing, like, this doesn't look very good. There's probably, if people have never watched this live with Spry's before, they're probably watching this and going, what the hell is this guy doing? That dog is falling on the ground. What is he doing to this poor thing? This is the stuff that happens when you're training and you go, it's not going very well. I'm not worried about it at all. I think it's great. I love the idea that we fail a lot. And so do you guys, I'm sure. So when things don't go good, what do? This is, I get jacked, I get excited about it. Because right now, there's probably a lot of people that would try this with their dog, and if their dog sits really well, which Jeff Forsberg has this dog sitting really well to the sit. He does not have this dog comfortable enough to back up. I've had the dog for a month. I got all the confidence in the world with him. He's trusts me, he believes in me. His body language right now is screaming, leave me alone. He can't even perk his ears up when I go up here. Normally this dog's ears are really perked. They're half laid back right now because he's super submitted. Now, we're going to fix it. We're going to have you guys see it. Now, I'm going to have to do it with a tone. I'm going to have to do it. When he does do it right, I'm going to have to let him know. When they don't do something right, you let him know. When they do it right, you got to let him know. So when he does it, you're going to hear me get a little giddy. Ooh, good, you're very good. And he's going to go, that's all I have to do. We got to figure out, and I got to be able to do it without him flopping like a dead fish. I can't let him quit on me. I got to get around. He is a pivoter. There. Good. I don't know if you noticed that. He didn't go backwards. He went sideways 3 hops. That was worth saying good to. Because instead of him planting it and spinning with just his front quarters, he did a little side hop. Well, that's closer. He's getting there. I also want to see the tail wave. I don't want this to be that bad. Good. Totally the wrong way. There. Good. That's it. Good. He's kind of doing that little hop that he did by himself. That's his move. There. Good. Very good. That was good. He adjusted 3 hops and he got back into position. That was a lot better than he led it this time. Good. Not bad, but he's still just a pivoter. Still a pivoter. Nope, not going to get out of that. Come on. Nope, come on. Good. Come on. There. Good. Ooh. We were like 1 off on that one. Good. I don't want to walk around him, I want him to walk around me. So right now, he's not able to do that without getting in the way. So I'm going to get him to start to understand, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Good. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. See how he... Get out of the way. Get out of the way. All I want to do is have him get out of the way one time. Get out of the way. Get out. Gotta get him to back up slightly. See, his problem is all he wants to do is he'll walk and then he'll turn around. And I don't want that. I'm gonna show you what I want it to look like. Come on. I'm going to take a see how she's just not stuck on that backing up. I turn, she gets out of the way. I turn, she gets out of the way. I want these dogs swinging around me, not me walking around them. Her turn right now is off. But boy, she's got quick feet. The problem with her turn right now is not her feet. Her feet are working really good. The back feet are moving, front feet are moving. That's where Tito kind of locks up. His back feet lock up. So that's what I got to get is his back feet to start to go backwards. Her back feet move. Come on. Problem is her body is turning the wrong way. She used to be a lot better at this. We saw it last night that she's just not that good at it anymore. I haven't practiced it with her for a long, long time. But what I want is, if I'm going this way and then I turn, I want her body to go like this. This is her butt, this part. I want it to go like this and to turn this way. Instead, her body, this is her butt here. This is her head, butt here. Her body is going like this, and she's trying to go this way. It's not the right bend. I need it this way and turn, not this way and turn. So I'm going to work on that with her. That one was a lot better. She still doesn't have a great bend. Ellie's got the best bend out of the dogs I have right now. There is a lot better. So you'll notice that when I can see their bend get really good is when their head watches me. So their head turns like this because it looks at me. Her butt backs up and starts to make the turn. That's when she gets this nice little turn. That was a pretty stiff turn. Her body was pretty straight. So then I can what I can do to really work on that, when I was trying to do Tito and wouldn't let me, was get around and start to walk into it. Slowly. And I'm going to do this. This is hard to do. It's really a pain to try to do it here, guys, but I'm going to try to show you a better angle. It's hard for me to get my lead, but I'll show you a better angle. What I like to do, this is a mechanical thing, get this lead on this side. So swing this around. Get this lead on this side of her nose. And if I have to, see that? I can lean this here. And she'll move to that. I'm going to use that to move her head. So it's going to be there. She's stretching. See if I can't get a little... See that curve? See the bend? There it's straight as an arrow. There it's bent a little bit. Bent a little bit. Bent a little bit. There's a nice bend. That's the best bend she had tonight. So it's hard for me. I'm going to reset this, straighten out. Watch her hind quarter and her head. So right now, it's like this. The problem was before, I can't get my hand to bend that way. Before it was like this. Head's over here, body goes and curls away from you. That makes it really difficult to get good feet. So when it's this way, it's curved the right way. That's what I mean. I probably say a lot of stuff that sounds really weird. The curve of the body and bending, and you can see there's a break between here and here. It's curved. So that's, I hope you're able to see that better. Let me flip this around. I'm going to start in on questions pretty quick because there's a long list of them, I think. So, once again, no recall. I will do a quick recall. Because I want to talk about that recall. And I want to talk about the reverse heel. I'm going to see what's stuck with him. He had a minute to think about it. Right here's somebody outside. That's enough. Lay down. Lay down. Good. That's what we got to work on. We got to work on that hind quarter again. That's what we're going to continue to. Here's a reverse heel. This is how I'm going to get a little recall to dogs without compromising steadiness, without calling them off a sit. Don't put them on sit and then call them to you. Don't work so hard to keep them steady and then call them to you. But here's what I'm going to do with a little reverse heel is I'm going to bring them out. I'll do it towards you guys. You sit. What I can do, here's a nice part about this adjustable leader is I've got a hold of him. Good. Good. Now, if he were healing awfully, I could continue to do that. I'm going to flip him back. Yeah. Boy, look at him amp up right now. Boy, that's a lot of excitement. So I can reset for this. I don't want him dragging the whole lead. If I have my training bag on, I clip this to my training bag. I don't have my bag on, so I'll just clip it to my pocket. But I've got control of him. Heel. I can drop it. Get him back twisted to the whistle. That's a lot to get these guys going. It's a lot to get them excited. So we can ramp them up, but then we got to put them right back down. Good. So if we can go from a real high energy thing, I'm going to recall back. You probably can see it better that way. That time, he jumped up and he just about flipped like a fish out of water. I mean, he was so excited. But I was really quick to just settle back in. Settle back in. Because if they get to the point where they boil over and we lose him, he'll be hot lapping around here. I've seen this so many times where you work so hard on something, then you get done with it, and you just let him go to hell. Let it go, do whatever you want. The short-term memory goes from what was really good and solid to boil over and free play. They lose the good stuff. It escapes them. What I want to do is get something out of the lesson and then go to there. Go in your place. Think about it for a little while. Let that soak in. So we've been talking about that the last couple of days. And part of that is because of what we ran into. Ron Herring and I are working on that with his dog. And I think that's part of what he was missing. So I'm going to do one more little recall with a reverse heel. And we'll use the whistle for it. Heel, heel. Good. 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 Not a ton of praise. He doesn't need it. Too much praise for him, he boils over. So, now I'm going to put him on place. Now, Spry, sit. Spry can come off, sit. Spry can come off place without being on lead because I trust that she's not going to take off on me. If you can't get your dog to do that, then put him on lead. Just set him up for success. So, I am going to scroll back through here. I saw there was a bunch of comments, which was awesome. This is the beauty of doing it live, guys. This is the value in it, I would say, is to get interaction. It's hard for me to do it when we're working because it's hard for me to pay attention. But I am going to start here where I know Wes Hansen had joined in. Krasanik was in, we saw all of this. So I'm just going to go through now and look at some of the questions, and then we're going to wrap up because I'm freezing. Jean, okay, so Jean is someone who brings their dog to Mighty Pet. That's what Chelsea said. So I asked her what Jean meant. I thought perhaps she was making fun of my jean shirt. I have a tendency to wear one once in a while. Betsy says, I shared last night. I'll share tonight's too. Betsy, you're the first one that I scrolled through and saw that shared it last night in this stint. Here's what I want to do. Betsy, send me your address. Just DM it to me. I'm going to send you a dog bone bowl and dog bone whistle. We used the whistle tonight. The reason I'm going to do that, I just randomly picked someone. So, Betsy, I don't know that we've talked much on this before. I appreciate your sharing. I appreciate everybody sharing. And I'm just gonna do that randomly. If you're willing to help me share this thing, I'm gonna share some of our stuff too. So, looks like Jeff, he would share it as well. I appreciate it. So, all you guys that do that, thank you. That means so much that you're willing to help try to grow this thing. Chris says his pre-order is in. The pre-order is available right now for the new shed DVD. It's 3 hours. It's 3 hours of shed training. We don't even have hold conditioning in there. It's another hour of hold conditioning. We're giving that to you for free. Hold conditioning is going to come with the purchase of the shed DVD. It's not going to be a physical DVD, the hold conditioning. We're going to figure out how to get it to you in a digital format. I know someone asked us about digital. We're working on digital for all of our stuff right now, but it's not there yet. So the actual way to get the shed DVD is going to be an actual DVD. Pre-order is open right now. And if you order on the pre-order, which a lot of you guys have, and I really appreciate that. My partner sent me a message and said, you broke the internet last night. He was exaggerating a bit, but we had more orders in a 24-hour period than we've ever had before. And I thank you for that. You guys don't know how much that means to me. The people who pre-order the DVD get a free bowl. So, and I don't know, I think we sell the bowls too, but, so it's an extra, I don't know what it is, $10 maybe is what we sell them for. So, free bowl with a pre-order on the DVD. Brooke Christine is in. Brooke, she says, hi, I've got a post that I want to share of Brooke's. Brooke had found some really nice success. Brooke followed along with Live with Spries from the beginning. She has a dog that's virtually the same age. He found his first shed, and I got a picture of it, and I'm going to be sharing it. So, Blonix are in. Angie joined in. Swipe left. Okay, so this is where I figured out how to lose him. Ron Herring was in. I don't know if he's still in. We were talking about him and Hank before. That was the dog that would get a lot of good work in. Look how nice this is. Good boy. He's either freezing or he's tired. Probably a combination of both. I just asked him to do a lot of stuff. I asked him to think quite a bit. Looks like we got up to 69 viewers, Chelsea said. Famous. Hashtag infamous. Carol was in from Michigan. Angie, he's the talker. I'm assuming you're talking about me. This is what my pup will do. This is probably where I don't know what we did. Struggling with remote sit maybe at that point. James can't help but laugh. I don't know what entertainment, I suppose. Zach shared it. Jeff shared it. You guys always do. Look like a basketball hoop for his basketball references. Yeah, 18-foot ceilings. You can't shoot threes without 18-foot ceilings. That's what Mason told me. Rochelle joined in. Kathy was in. Kathy missed her dog live last night, but I think she caught it on a replay. Cody's in. These videos are awesome. I'm getting a chocolate lab this spring. Can't wait to start training her. Thanks for all the help. You bet, Tony. Be sure to go back in the beginning. Watch the beginnings. Those are really important. Jeremy Van Beek joined in. Tony, make sure you get their puppy training video. Thank you, Matt, for that. Tony, the puppy video is probably the most valuable thing we've put out there to building a solid foundation. I think a foundation is critical. If you build a house on a bad foundation, it will fall over. If you train a dog with a bad foundation, it will fall over. Question, I started working Jax on the bending and such. He's got a bad bend in the wrong way. Most do, especially to start out. It's not natural for them to lead with their back. It's natural for them to lead with their front. They've done it their whole lives. So that's part of the struggle. Through a few short sessions of the spinning and such we did at Mighty Pet, the best I've gotten so far is he's gotten a straight back, which is better than a bend. So perfect. And it seems to be backing up straight versus the backwards bend. Is this okay? Absolutely. Do I keep doing the spin drill until he starts to turn the wrong way? Tips, tricks, reassurance. Keep backing up and then help him figure out how to turn the right way. And the second he does, let him know. Like, it's probably, it's 1 time or 2 times away, Chelsea, from the light bulb going on. I always say that sometimes it just clicks with these dogs. Well, got to get them to do it right in order for it to click. So you're going to have to figure out how to do that drill that we did with Paula and Rochelle, where you got to get around them. You got to corral the turn correctly. I say the right turn, I mean the correct turn, and then get the bend the right way. And once it does, it'll happen. And the light bulb goes on, and then we move for it. So drifter pulls. Oh, this is way back when we were eating gravel. Matt, I plan on getting a lot of stuff to help. Oh, this is Tony. So Matt responding to Matt. So this is really nice too, because people can talk to each other while I'm overdoing my thing. Still need to get a training bag, so much more. This is really important. Like, I fumbled around tonight because I didn't have the training bag. I didn't have my stuff in the right spot. That's important. This guy right here clips to there. You can see the spot. You can see the spot that's been rubbed from it. That's where that goes. So then it's out of your hands, it's out of your way, all your stuff is. So yes, training bag is key. Tony, keep an eye out. I was thinking about doing, as soon as we get moved into the shop, thinking about doing some type of a special or a promotional thing with the bags, because I think it's overlooked a lot. And so keep an eye out there. Not sure which one was hilarious. Nicole joined in. Nicole Larson from Minnesota is in. Let's see. Coda is a spring that breaks at times. Yes, some of these dogs get so wound up. I think that's when we were seeing how wound tight this dog got. Matt Tandy joined in. Derek joined in. Brian joined in. Any questions? Tyler, watch on your break for a bit. So people are tagging other people. To be fair, you said sit. So apparently I made a mistake in some of my wording, which that happens too. Do you have a problem if a dog lays down when you're asking them to remote sit? Not at all, Zach. I like it. Tells me they're going to be there a while, and they understand that. So I don't have a problem with that. Put a hog out there, the walk will turn into a drag. LOL. I'm not sure what that one meant. Ross joined in. How's Ross? Thor moves backwards like his feet are in wet concrete. It's really awkward. It's really uncomfortable. I ask you guys to do something with your offhand and tell me how it feels. Like yesterday my reference was throwing, I look like Tom Cruise throwing Goose's dog tags into the sea when I throw left-handed. I look really uncomfortable. I look really awkward. And so if you do something with that you're not used to doing, it's hard to do. Backpedaling. If you weren't a cornerback in high school,
or college, try to do a back pedal really fast outside tomorrow and tell me how good that looks. Tell me how athletic you look. You might end up on your backside, right? So think about it for these guys. A lot of these dogs, their whole lives, they've led with their front shoulders. Now we're asking them to lead with their back. It makes it really difficult. Let's see. I just pushed a button and I skipped way down. So let me scroll up quick and see if I can. Okay, here we go. I'm glad you have a good example. I do think he looks like the Mighty Pet Dogs. Totally. His actions tonight were just like the Mighty Pet Dogs this week. Put your butt down and pivot. Just spin. It's because they've never done it before. And that's their escape. That's the way they feel like they can get out of it. So let's see. You're spot on. I see a major difference in his demeanor. We're not perfect. We're all him. Blessed to have your help, says Forsberg. So Forsberg, you did a nice job with this dog. He gave me a really nice dog to work with. Now it's just stuff that I wouldn't expect Jeff to have known. So now we just sharpen it. He gave me the shape. Now I need to sharpen it. Vanessa joined in. That looks like Maverick, says Nicole. Exactly how Maverick moves. Yeah, they're a little uncomfortable. They're a little awkward. These boys, these little boy dogs, I think are a little bit like boy humans, where they get a little uncoordinated, especially at, like, he's around 6 or 7 months right now. Well, it's kind of like some of these guys that are like 8th graders, freshmen. Their feet grow all really big and their body doesn't keep up, and next thing you know, they're kind of tripping on their own feet, and they're a little clumsy around girls. And, like, hey, that's what these dogs are at right now. So it's not surprising to me one bit. They're nowhere near. Her feet are a lot just, well, first she's done this a long time, but her feet are just a little more coordinated, that's all. Jason says he's going to sleep good tonight. I think so. I mean, this is a nice little burnout mentally for him, and he's physically, he's spent as well. Rocky joined in, Brittany joined in. I am in, did some Walmart steady work tonight with my wife shopped. I think I saw a video of that, or I don't know if you posted a video or someone else posted a video. Someone was doing something in a store. I saw it really quickly while I was setting up. How do you not get dizzy? I do. I do, and sometimes you just have to stop and get your bearings again. But hey man, training gets us a little bit more athletic ourselves. That camera angle when you held it up really showed the difference in the curve. Yes, I hope it did, because it's probably difficult to see it otherwise. It's not as good as if you're standing here overlooking, but I hope that angle helped to explain my bend thing, what I'm looking for. Literally just tripped myself seeing how my fin turned. Matt, sounds like Matt's trying it as we're trying it. Is this the first time using the whistle? Is that how you start a dog with the whistle? I started them out, Chelsea, when they're pretty little with the whistle, walking around the yard. I let them chase me around, and I just beep, 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 beep. As soon as I do that, everybody, what? It's about the cadence. They go, oh my gosh, I know what that means. So they kind of expect to run when they hear that. I use the exact same. I don't go deep, deep, deep. I go beep, 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 beep. And I walk around the yard and they follow me around. So I'm sure this dog has seen it. Tito has seen it. Spry certainly has seen it. I'm pleased that the whistle and the excitement in my voice didn't get Spry to come off the bed. That tells me that place is so strong in her, she won't come off even when she hears that whistle. She just knew it wasn't her turn. So that was a nice little test. Last night, if I had done that, and I think if I did it with Spry, this dog would come off. Now, my tone and my pace and my cadence and all that, what have it done to him? The same thing it did when he was sitting over there. Now what happens? Watch what happens. I'm going to just shut this down for a second. frustrating for them. And a little awkward and uncomfortable for some of us, probably. Lots of blue thumbs, though. I like that. So I think this is a good example of how we can change things with our pace and our tone. And I think it's really a good example of how they mirror us. When you got dogs that are real anxious, real busybodies, can't sit still, go, 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 go. Just doing that changes him. So when your lifestyle is run, 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 and you never slow it down with the dogs, their lifestyle is run, 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 run. It's just all they know. Trust me, my life is run, 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 run. But whenever I'm doing something with the dogs, I slow way down, like to the point where it becomes uncomfortable. Now he's almost fallen asleep. He was getting the head bobs. There, he's swaying. He's about to fall over. You can see when you slow down, they slow down to the point where you can almost have them fall asleep. But if you start beep, 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 make a bunch of noise, get excited, run around the house, hurry, 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 pack this, do that, load up the truck, get the kids ready, all that stuff, man, that just becomes their life. That's what we really have to work on. Chad Jackson, this Fabian is brutal. Do you not have anything better to do? I don't know what that means. Danelli says, first night watching live, I enjoyed it, learned a lot. Awesome, thank you for watching. So some more people joined in. Pre-ordering the new DVD, excited about it. Appreciate it, Amanda, thank you. I'm exposed for what it is, and I love it. My fault, not his. I honestly never worked on left-hand turns, and the way you did it with him tonight, I'm so happy to learn is this as well as so much more. I tend to get too caught up on being perfect, and I miss what matters most, the simple things. Huge shout out to Spry for patience, setting an example. I missed that one. So, don't worry, Jeff. We're gonna get through this a little bit. Now he gets, oh my gosh. So, reading through these videos are great, blowing Why mine? Learning to train. Okay, I'm about out of battery, guys. Willie Marlin joined in. I have a 13-week-old lab. It's been working on steady, so I'm feed in place and the house along with kenneling because of the sheep kennels at night. Any other suggestions? FYI, you've only back watching the live with Spries. If you're watching the live with Spries early, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Sounds like you're doing the right stuff. Biggest thing is, at 13 weeks, really young, just understand that avoid bad habits, and sometimes it's avoiding things that you're gonna have to train out later that's more important than putting stuff in when they're that young. Let's see. So Chelsea's talking about the whistle. Chelsea, we can talk about whistles too next time too. Let's see. Jeff says the puppy DVD. Puppy DVD is gold, I think. Jeremy McCarty joined in. Seeing you work through trouble. It's more educational. And smooth sailing? I don't know what that means either. Oh, smooth sailing, I'm sure you meant. I thought that was a Missouri thing. How much different is it compared to the Wild Rose Way DVD? Because I have that one. A lot different, Donnelly. I think that DVD is really good too. I think there's a lot of good information out there. Ours is way different. It doesn't cover nearly as much stuff. It's a lot longer and it talks about a lot less stuff. So it just covers things differently. But those Wild Rose DVDs are good too. I have them. Get up. That's what I got to be paying attention to. You can't allow that little bit of a creep. When I say creep, I mean creeping off. Let's see. Junk stagger for Tito is what he had. Today's marks 1 year with ice and a little over a year following live with Spry. What a difference a year makes. Indeed, Jason. So anyone, I'm going to end it with that. Anyone, that last comment of Jason's is really important. A year goes by really quick. So it seems like an eternity, especially at the moment. One week seems like a long time for some. Sometimes I blink and it's a month or two later. So it's going to go really fast, guys. Don't be overwhelmed by it. The last 2 nights of Live with Spry, look how much we've covered. Not a lot. We have not gone real far. We have not, but you know what? I think we're making progress. And if you make progress consistently day after day, pretty soon a year goes by, like Jason said, and man, it is measurable. It's a big difference. So, but you can't work on it for a week at a time and then take 11 months off in between and go, this is so frustrating. It just doesn't work. That's like trying to work out for a day and lose 10 pounds. Well, it doesn't work. But if you do it for 2 weeks straight, every day, I bet you will lose significant weight and feel a lot better and all that stuff. Trust me. I mentioned it before. The Chinese calendar is the year of the dog. So I'm hashtagging a lot of 2018 year of the dog. That's what that means. It literally is the Chinese calendar. So, but I'm talking about a little bit of health this year. So I drank more water in the last week than I've drank in the last year, maybe. And so I go to the bathroom a lot, but I'm flushing stuff out and I'm feeling really, actually more energy. And I'm not doing a lot of exercise. I'm not doing any exercise. I ice skated twice. So that's about it. But I'm changing consistently with my diet. And that's almost giving me enough energy to say, maybe I'll actually ice skate more than twice a week, or more than once a week, or more than once a month, which is the rate that I've been at so far. So it just takes some consistency and it takes some following up with it. So this guy has had enough. I don't blame him. And I'm talking, so then he must be really tired. So you guys have a great night. Another Live with Spry in the books. We're up to I think tonight was 119, 118 or 119. I think 119. So man, we're continuing. Be patient. Everybody be patient. We'll get there when we get there. Talk to you soon. Have a great night.